Who I want to talk to is the brand new landowners, the people that maybe have used a chainsaw a little bit, but they, maybe cut a few small trees here and there, and then now they've found themselves in a position where they're needing to cut trees, firewood, or clearing land. You need to think about getting a larger saw. If you can run it, if you have the strength and the ability to run it, get something bigger. Okay, this is a little oak tree right here. I've cut a lot of trees out with these saws. These are Farmertec saws. They're Holzfforma clones, around 65 to 70 cc. Now, the reason why I say that you need to consider getting some larger equipment is just simply for time. This tree here, with the video unedited, the tree took about 20 minutes to process, and that's limbing it up and bucking it into firewood. Now, this isn't a real large tree, but if I were to take like a little MS-170 or CS-310 from Echo, or the equivalent of a little Holzfforma from a big box store, it would have taken me for absolutely forever. Look how fast that this goes through this. That tree is probably only 10 to 12 inches down there. But if that was a smaller saw, a little 30 cc saw, I would have still been there. And I've cut this up. I'm going to start limbing. Now this saw is a little heavy for taking the limbs off of a trunk. I used to briefly, I did this with an excavation company. I would do a lot of limbing, and so I have a little bit of experience. Now I have gotten soft. I'm very weak at the moment, also recovering from illness. But anyway, I've cut a little bit. Certainly no expert. But with that being said, you can limb this. This is with a 20-inch bar. Now, I do like to use a smaller CC saw in this scenario, but I already had this one out, and I knew I was going to be bucking this log into lengths. You can see how quickly that cuts right there. Later on, I do use a small top handle saw. It's a saw that I've actually used. I've climbed just a few trees with it, limbing them up and cutting them from the top down. It's an excellent saw. I actually prefer it to my Echo. Now, my Echo saw, the advantage to it, it's a little CS-310 with a 14-inch bar. It's got a semi-chisel chain, and it is a great saw because it's extremely fuel efficient, and the thing always works. It's just bulletproof. But where I really prefer to use it is if I'm going and cutting brush with that semi-chisel chain. It works very good. I also like it for when I'm flush cutting a small stump or saplings down at ground level, because the saw is really underpowered, and again, that semi-chisel chain doesn't have a tendency to bind and catch as easily, and it handles getting dull and maybe getting into the dirt a little bit better. Just the chain design. You can watch lots of videos on that. Here what I'm doing is just cutting up any bits of the tree that I can use for firewood. If you see me cutting 12-inch, 14-inch lengths, it's because I'm going to put it in the wood stove. I try to use as much of the tree as possible to heat my home with, and then all the rest of the brush I generally just burn and burn it up as quickly as possible. By the end of the day here, all of this brush was burned up, gone, had our fire going, and as fast as we could throw it in there, it was disappearing. But all the rest of it will be used to heat my house. So here I'm going to go ahead and start bucking up these two logs. This is where the larger saw really makes a huge difference. It cuts like butter because the chain is sharp and the engine is powerful. Okay, so again, this is oak. You take a smaller saw. You can cut this, absolutely. A little 14-inch bar, a little electric saw, plug-in electric, battery-powered one. They'll cut. Okay, they'll cut it. But this, I'm gonna bust through this thing so fast. All right. Right here, what I'm doing is I'm cutting, 75%, 80% of the way through. And I'll roll the log. Now it's on a hill. As you can see, it's very rocky. I'm a little rusty. Also, by the way, I should be wearing saw pants for kickback and cutting myself and all that. I'm not. That's something I absolutely recommend. Most of the time I do put that on. I didn't. I thought about it and I just didn't. And that's when you get yourself in trouble. But anyway, saw is very, very, very quick. You can do it with a smaller saw. It's just going to be sitting there for a very long time. And listen, if you have half acre with a few trees, a couple limbs falling out of the falling to the ground periodically, and you are cutting them up, those little saws are great. But who I'm talking to is someone that I have thousands of trees, and I've got and I'm going to be cutting some for firewood, clearing for additional buildings. I have a sawmill, so I'm going to be cutting logs to length so I can mill. I need to be able to cut efficiently and quickly. Okay, I'm not talking to the person with a small lot with occasional limbs. Use one of those little small saws. They're great, but this is someone cutting firewood. Don't go to the big store and buy a saw for a couple $100 there and expect it to cut a couple cords of firewood a year and be efficient at it. It's just not gonna work well. I've got a couple of these saws here, a couple big ones. I've got a couple small ones. I've got a little MS-180. I've got a CS-310, and I've mostly got import clone saws. That's what I really like using them. So, because I'm going to make a video about that, about who those saws are for. They're not for everyone. If you can go out and buy, I think Steel has a 461, or I'm not sure. Those are great saws. I'm not sure what their current numbers are. A 500i, whatever. They're great saws. They're just extremely expensive. If you can afford those and you have a lot of firewood to cut, and or land that you're clearing, those are excellent choices in saws. I'm not just advocating here for the lesser expensive import saws.
It's gonna want to take off. Watch out. Watch out.
There's certainly women and men that are far better at doing this than I am. This is just how I'm doing it. I'm relatively new property owner. I have not grown up my entire life cutting wood. There's guys, some people I know that have been doing it since they were little. They've probably been a lot better at it than myself. Now here what you're seeing is this is a JonCutter. I believe it's around a 25cc. It's a top handle. Instructions say to use 2 hands on the saw at all times, just letting you know. Okay, this is a saw, it's meant, for this kind of stuff, and also climbing. It's got the little ring on the back so you can go ahead and hang it when you climb. Will a full-time arborist use this saw? I don't know. Probably not. They probably use latest and greatest Echo or steel, or I know some have been going with some of those electric top handles now. But this saw right here is a phenomenal saw, just over $100 with a 12-inch bar. It absolutely rips. It's a full chiseled chain, will outcut my little Echo very, very easily. Now, not the best in the brush because with the full chisel chain it does catch. Again, the semi-chisel chain does work better for that type of work. But just wanted to show you this saw running. It always starts up very, very quickly. I'm cutting right here little firewoods. Like I said, you should be using it with 2 hands. However, I'm not quite sure how you do little blocks of wood like that after I've limbed it up. Shout out to my 9-year-old son shooting all the video, taking these pictures. He did a great job. Been working with him on that. He just wanted to take some pictures, kind of showing the terrain, some of the cut up stuff, and here at the end you'll see a stack of wood from this one single tree. This stuff we'll split it with a maul here in a bit, but there you go, the 2 saws that were used during this video. You've heard it 1,000 times. If you like this video, like and subscribe. Definitely appreciate you watching it, and hopefully you're able to learn something. If you have any questions, shoot me a comment and I'll try to answer as quickly as possible.